Here we go. Hey, everything on 3. Number 3. Wait on 1. Oh. Wait on 3. 1, 2, 3. Wait. I know the next step from that. Eyes on 3. Everything on 3. 1. Everything.
You are now listening to the Fantasy Football Bros Podcast.
Welcome back to the Fantasy Football Bros Podcast, everybody. It's your boy, the wrong fucking. We're not editing that out. That's a bad sign because it's your boy.
Amazing. That couldn't have been a better intro.
And of course, guys, the champ is here. Give it up, everybody. Pay your respects.
How many weeks we got left?
So I can't wait for the new season.
How many weeks?
God, we got 2 weeks till training camp, and then we're into August. So give me 6 weeks. We'll say.
But I'm still
7 weeks.
Throned. I'm still the champ.
No, you're still the champ until the season starts.
I don't know about that one.
Anyway, finish the intro.
Anyway, we got to my virtual left. The no nickname, no nonsense. No.
What's going on, guys?
Adam Van Hout, what's up, dude?
What's going on?
And to his virtual left, we got the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Jay Coleman. Jay, what's up, dog?
What's going on?
And again, joined by the what do I call you? I don't know what to call you. Well,
the Let's Talk Nerdy.
Well, we could say from the Let's Talk Nerdy content. Get up, damn it, Pickles, get out of here. Okay, from the Let's Talk Nerdy contest, but for podcast, whatever podcast. but I remember
a roaring start.
This all better stay in.
Oh, it's staying for sure. I remember now. Here it is. Ready?
There it is.
The fantasy football surgeon, Mr. Dave Zags. What's up, Zags?
What's up, boys? How's it going?
Going well.
Welcome back.
I heard we had some record-breaking numbers on our podcast, and I just made that up. So I just threw that out there. Well, we'll start it off.
It very well could be true. Very well.
Dave, go ahead and plug your show while you're here. You can get it at the top and the bottom.
I mean, it's like how many times do I guest spot on Fantasy Football Bros before I just like am a fantasy football bro part time?
You're a fantasy football bro. Everybody in our league.
I was gonna say everybody's in the league. We're all fantasy football bros, man. Cheers to that.
Cheers to that. Bye, guys. I super appreciate you guys. Thank you for having me again. If you want to check out a show I do with my buddy Adam, we do a show called Let's Talk Nerdy Podcast.
Not me, the other Adam.
The other Adam. Let's Talk Nerdy Podcast. Clean shaven Adam. Let's Talk Nerdy Podcast on all social platforms. Let's Talk Nerdy Podcast on YouTube. If you want to check it out, we super appreciate you. So thank you very much, guys.
And of course, yelling around already got yelled at. And she's here trying to get all the attention. Of course,
shocker.
She's literally sitting right next to me on Jay's chair, waiting for Jay.
Yeah, she's waiting for Jay. It's been a while since we were over there.
I know. Well, when Dave's on it, it's easier to do it this way. So, and
true.
Dave brings something to the show. It's called All the Ladies. That's what happens when Dave's on. We get the female viewership goes up.
If I'm bringing the ladies, I'm sorry for all y'all ladies that showed up. I'm sorry.
Well, did you guys hear? Hang on.
How about them Bills, baby? Let's go.
Did you guys hear the rumor that surfaced today?
Bits and pieces.
Today, I didn't hear anything that surfaced today.
I think it was.
I was a hermit today. Had off of work.
The rumor is a rumor. It's not a major rumor, but it's a small rumor that the Bills are interested in trading for one Cooper Kupp.
Where did that start?
Yeah,
I don't know. I noticed it last night. I mean, it was not, like I said, it's not a big rumor yet, but like I saw it at a couple different places, and then just ponder the idea, if you would. I could not think of a more perfect fit for a receiver in this offense than Cooper Kupp. Not just because he's one of the best receivers in the league, of course, but think about like all that Cole Beasley brought to this team, and this guy is a 10 times better player than Cole Beasley ever could dream of being, playing the same position but bigger.
Same position, yeah, exactly. In the slot.
Bigger and stronger. So like I could not. I would rather. And I'll put my money on. I would rather have Cooper Cup than Nuke Hopkins.
100%.
100%. Jay, what do you feel about that?
I would rather have Cooper Cup.
Dave, what about you? Dave's a Hopkins.
I'm such a huge Hopkins fan. You know what? I'm gonna be honest. It's a 50-50 for me. Like, give me either one. I mean, if it really had to come down to it, I guess give me Cooper Cup, which might be surprising, but like if Nuke or Cooper Cup comes and slaps on that Bills uniform, like hooray for all of us.
So they're both 30, right? So
Diggs is too.
Yeah, and so is Diggs, right? So I guess it would come down to, would Cooper Cup be healthy? Which he's trending that way, I think, is what I read on him. But I mean, he had the big injury where Hopkins wasn't injured. I'm still going Cooper Cup though. I think he plays the slot way better than anybody in the league. So, and that's Josh Allen's bread and butter.
Yeah.
Give me Cooper Cup all day.
Yeah, so and I feel the same way. Like,
I did not hear this though, so that's crazy news for me.
Like I said, I just Googled it again, and just a couple of places. So Sports Illustrated, they didn't say there's rumors, but Sports Illustrated like did a random like what if scenario.
Oh, what if this happened? Yeah,
kind of thing. So there's rumors. There's rumors that people are saying, what if Diggs is involved in it? I mean, and honestly, I don't want that, but I still think Cup is. I think Cup and Diggs is a wash. If you're going to trade 1 for 1, what's the point?
Yeah, there's no reason for it.
Unless
it's a money thing.
Unless you really believe in Shakir to take over on the outside. But isn't he more of a slot guy too?
I think so.
I think that's a loss, to be honest.
You think it goes down going?
I think it's less than a lateral move. Now, the only reason you would consider it is like if all of this coming out where Diggs isn't happy, it ends up being true, and Diggs truly, truly has some like issues wanting to play for the Bills, like then it's a lateral move, because a guy not happy in a situation is not going to give it 110%. But like, if we're strictly talking about like Diggs is happy, he's cool with the team, he's ready to rock, I don't know, moving from Diggs to Cooper Cup is a less than lateral move for me, because Diggs has proven to be the healthier option here.
That's very true. And I think though, fantasy speaking though, I think if that happened, whether Cooper Cup came here or if it was a Diggs for Cup, I think Cooper Cup could break his record from 2 years ago, because Josh loves the slot. Josh loves, Josh hyper targets one guy. It's been Diggs, but it could turn into, the slot Cooper Cup guy, and that could just be massive. But I mean, like I said, it's not major rumors, but I thought it was an interesting talking point.
Like I said, I didn't hear that today, so that's crazy news for me to hear that even it's a rumor. But like everything you said, Chaz, or I'm sorry, Dave, it might be a little bit of less than a lateral move, but and I agree with Chaz in the fact that that's Josh Allen's bread and butter. He does love the slot, but I also agree that I don't think we have anybody that can fill Diggs's role on the outside. Sherfield, he's probably the best one I can think of, because it's certainly not going to be Gabe Davis.
No, unless it's that rookie that we drafted that's going to replace Gabe Davis.
Oh, the monster.
Yeah.
Smalls, right? What's his name? Short?
Yeah.
Justin Shorter.
Yeah.
Shorter, that's right. Well, just so I
Maybe.
can quote where I saw this. This came from NFL Analysis Network. It says Cooper Cup suggested as major Bills trade target, and then yardbreaker.com, Cooper Cup suggested as major Bills trade target. So I don't know even how. I mean, like I said, it doesn't seem like a major rumor, but it was just something.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
I mean, if we get to keep Diggs, and these moves, either of these moves happen, whether it's Cooper Cup or Hopkins taking like a little bit of a hit to come play with us, like amazing. Like not talking bad about Gabe Davis or Shakir or anything like that. Like that, but I mean, obvious upgrade. We're talking obvious upgrades here, guys.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. And then if we can keep Diggs and get one of those two, then I'm all for it. But if we have to give up Diggs to get him, then I agree with Chaz. There's literally no point.
Yeah.
Unless it's hot, I guess. Unless it's Hopkins is a free agent, so it wouldn't even matter. But if Diggs was in the deal, and for us to get Cooper Kupp, I would want Hopkins so he can play the outside.
Yeah,
but again, it's a money thing. So if that would be the only way that I could get on board with that. And then, although like I said, if it doesn't involve Diggs and we just get one or the other, Kupp or Hopkins, I'm okay with both.
How about we have all three of them? Let's do that. Let's just go all
imagine that. Oh my God.
You guys are all already rich, yo. Play for $1 and let's win a championship.
Let's go,
come on, man. Let's go.
Be the reason why Buffalo wins their first one. Come on, that should be motivation enough.
Do we really think that DeAndre Hopkins is going to sign for less money? He's debating signing between Mac Jones and Ryan Tannehill. So I don't think this guy actually wants to move. No offense, Dave. But if you're debating to go sign with Mac Jones or Ryan Tannehill, you're pretty much giving up your career when you're 30 years old.
It's about the money. Yeah.
I mean, not a lot of people know this, but like Hopkins and Belichick have like a little love situation. Like they both just like really like each other for some reason, which is kind of weird, but I don't know. That
I like a guy that won 6 championships too. So
yeah.
Oh boy. All right. So we're here to finish up our segment of our divisional reviews, and we are on the Eastern divisions. We've got the AFC East and the NFC least. You see what I did there? Oh, you can't say that because they're the defending. Oh, I got the drop. Hang on. They are the
reigning, defending, undisputed.
Yep, the NFC East. You had the Super Bowl contenders in the Eagles. So we're going to start in the NFC East, and we're going to start with every Bills fan's original most hated team. And how about them Cowboys, guys? We're going to start with them. So, Jay, do you have their stuff pulled up?
Yeah.
Why don't you tell me about their additions and re-signings?
Brandon Cooks, Stephon Gilmore, Donovan Wilson, Van Der Esch, Dante Fowler Jr., Cooper Rush, and Tony Pollard.
Right, and
how did I not know they signed Gilmore?
They sure did, and they brought in
I didn't know either.
Tight end Luke Schoonmaker. So they did some pretty good shit. I mean, I know they lost Dalton Schultz, but I mean, I was always mad on him. I just felt he was the second option because they didn't have anything, and Zeke was pretty washed up. We can all agree, right?
I know it's sad to say because he's only 28, but that's like kind of the age that running backs are kind of losing a step nowadays. The way that it used to be, it was, you can get a guy in his 30s, but yeah, it's just for running backs, it's just getting younger, I think.
So I love the move, and I'll send this one over to Dave. I personally love the move of Brandon Cooks, bringing in Brandon Cooks. They got for nothing. They traded like a 5th-round pick for him.
Absolutely nothing.
And Brandon Cooks is way better than Michael Gallup, and I don't think he's that much underneath Amari Cooper. I know Amari Cooper's the better receiver of the two, but you got him for cheaper, and you also proven that CeeDee Lamb's your number one. Brandon Cooks has been a number one on like 14 different NFL teams. Now he has a chance to be the number 2 in a great offense with a good quarterback and an alpha number 1. What are your feelings, Dave, coming into the season on Brandon Cooks?
I love me some Brandon Cooks. I love Brandon Cooks. Even when he went to die in Houston, I was taking Brandon. I was taking Brandon Cooks because I'm the dude. He's a legitimate number 1 wide receiver, and like we talk about all the time, is in the middle rounds of your draft. Sometimes, if you're sleeping on wide receiver, you're kind of looking for that guy who's going to get you, 100 catches. He might not ball out of control, but you're going to get 100 catches, 1,000 yards from Brandon Cooks. So I like the move here, and I think like we talked about, CD is obviously the wide receiver 1 here. I think CD is going to ball out of control, especially because he's in a contract year, and I think towards the end of the season, we're really going to see a lot of double coverage headed his way. That's going to open stuff up for Brandon Cooks. No, there's a little bit of issue with Dak Prescott, but I mean, I think he's a good quarterback. He's a serviceable quarterback, and we've seen nothing out of Michael Gallup for the longest time. So I'm not worried about Michael Gallup at all. I really think Cooks is kind of becoming a very nice sleeper steal in the late ends of your drafts. And I don't really know why.
Well, because he's been around the league so much, and people, I believe, think that Brandon Cooks is like 47 years old. But like right now, he's 29.
Yeah.
He feels like he's 47.
He feels like he's 47 years old.
He's
Yeah.
bounced around the league so many times.
Yep.
He's been on, he was a star in New Orleans and goes to Houston, and
there was two teams in between there.
I think there was two teams in between there.
Yeah, he's with the Rams for a little bit.
Rams, I think, for a little bit. Yep. And then,
Patriots.
I don't remember the other one, but
Patriots. So
that's right, for a year.
So this guy's rookie. So cut out whatever his rookie year. Cut him out there. So we'll go from his second year on. 2015 Saints, 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns. Saints, 1,100 yards, 8 touchdowns. Patriots, almost 1,100 yards, 7 touchdowns. Rams, 1,200 yards, 5 touchdowns. Rams, it looks like he must have got hurt this year, 500 yards. But then the first year with the Texans, 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns. The second year with the Texans, just under 1,100 yards, 6 touchdowns, and he really fell off the face of the earth last year. But he was sitting out games, and he wanted to get traded. So that is some pretty dynamic stuff for some guy. So out of his 10 seasons, 9 seasons, he's had 1, 2, 3 seasons under 1,000 yards. One of them, it was injury prone, and one of them was his rookie year, and then last year. So that guy puts up numbers every year, and he's so slept on.
He does, and a lot of people sleep on him.
So slept on. And, like we talked about last year, I mean, there were some obvious concerns last year that, he just wasn't feeling it. Like, he finally just had enough and was like sitting out of games and stuff like that. So that year's a fluke. I still think Brandon Cooks has plenty in the tank. If you look at that, he's basically 1,100 yards every single season. It's consistency. You're going to get over 1,000 yards. You're going to get close to 100 catches with Brandon Cooks. And if you pick him up as a wide receiver 3 or like maybe a flex in rounds 9, 10, something like that, like he's just Mr. Dependable in that middle to end section of the draft.
Yeah, that's good value there for him at those rounds. And Brandon Cooks he's got a much better offense in Dallas. I mean, we know it. I mean, Dak's a serviceable quarterback, like you said, Dave. But Dak Prescott, he was the year that he got hurt when he broke his ankle, he was throwing for like 500 yards a game. Yeah. He got hurt like week 4 or 5, I think it was. I mean, that guy was on pace to just absolutely crush it.
He was the number 1 fantasy quarterback the week he got hurt, like for the year.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. And I mean, he's in a very good situation. But even then, I still think people are going to sleep on him. But I'll still take him in round 6, 7, 8 if I have to, if I need a wide receiver.
Yeah, and I know Jay last year you put him in your Nabra or your meh, and that was last year. Does he go up for you now? Do you feel more excited about him, Jay?
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's Dallas, so they're gonna be high octane offense, so they're gonna be throwing it a lot. So
yeah, I'm excited for Brandon Cooks. I mean, if we're going to talk about it, Tony Pollard's going to be a top 2 round pick, and so is CeeDee Lamb a top 2 round pick. And I don't have any doubts about those guys. The only doubts that I have is Tony Pollard staying healthy, because he got more time last year for the first time in his career, and he wasn't the alpha dog, but he was almost the alpha dog, and he got hurt. So
yeah.
Is that going to happen again? That's not saying me to like dunk on him and get rid of him, but there is some concern there.
We know Pollard is good, right? But I think we mentioned it before, but Zeke had like 9 touchdowns, or maybe even more than that. 12 touchdowns, was it? That's a lot of touchdowns. So now that he's not there and it's really the Tony Pollard show now, I expect Tony Pollard to be right up around that number.
12 touchdowns, you thinking?
At least. They use him a lot in the passing game, and I mean, it was Zeke 1 and 2, Pollard on 3, and Pollard just did more with his touches. which is why everybody's like, "Oh, Zeke was terrible." But Pollard is one of those guys that, like, you're right. He's going to be a top 2 round pick. And he's a running back 1 for sure, and I think
By the
he
way,
can.
Just look this up. Zeke is only 27, guys.
Yeah, Zeke is 27. Dalvin Cook is 28. Like, these guys don't have teams. Like, Kareem Hunt is under 30 still. Like, these guys aren't signed, but they want big money, and they're not going to get it until somebody gets hurt in training camp, like they always do. But Tony Pollard, man, I'm hoping I can get him on one of my teams at least.
The only problem, I said, other than injury, but and I was just double checking. Zeke had 12 touchdowns last year.
Mhm.
So in 4 of the last 5 years, Zeke had 12 touchdowns, 10 touchdowns, 12 touchdowns, in 3 of the last 4 years. So, I mean,
Yeah.
the guy still has something, but he's a free agent. There's no, and I'm not saying they might even bring him back, but the last thing about the Tony Pollard thing, and that's great. And I know, like, I'll shoot this one over to Dave to get his opinion on it. Pollard was very effective because of Zeke as well. You need a guy like Zeke to take the pressure in the middle so the smaller, shiftier guy can take it to the outside.
Yep.
I'm not saying that it's just going to make Pollard disappear, but I think that causes some concern for me. What do you think about that, Dave?
I mean, to be totally honest, I don't have a ton of concerns on Tony Pollard. Pollard, he's been just a backup guy for the longest time, and we've seen flashes of him being an RB1. And I think this is like his kind of first official opportunity to be like, here, dude, we are handing you the show. And I think Pollard's going to give it everything he's got. Now, I don't, obviously there's injury concerns with any player, but I'm not really super worried about him like getting burnt out or like running the wheels off. My only problem with Pollard, though, is we talked about this before, like current ADP puts him, a lot of current ADP puts him before Derrick Henry. So, like, are you going to go Pollard over Derrick Henry?
I hate the ADP.
They're right there.
I hate going by it.
But they're right there for me, like near each other, because Pollard is the PPR guy, but Henry is just a beast. So it's like, I guess it kind of depends on what your final rankings will be, which our final running back rankings will be in like a month. But I mean, I don't think it would be the most absurd thing to take Pollard over Henry, but like it's I still think I'm leaning Henry at the moment, but I wouldn't go crazy. It wouldn't be like taking Breece Hall, who's coming off an ACL, over Henry. Like, to me, that's insane.
No. Yeah, no, that's insane. And
I agree.
Yeah,
it's wild.
That's kind of where I'm at, right? Is like, I love me some Tony Pollard, but in his current position where he's being drafted, you're taking Tony Pollard over Derrick Henry, and I'm still leaning Derrick Henry. So like, I don't think anybody drafting Tony Pollard is going to be like, oh, that was a huge mistake. I mean, Tony Pollard, he's going to be a legitimate RB1. He's going to put up a ton of numbers, but if I'm sitting there and Derrick Henry and Tony Pollard are still on the board, like, I'm going Henry. So I know I'm not going to get Tony Pollard on any of my teams.
I am too, and I don't have high hopes for the Tennessee offense. And it's gonna go through Derrick Henry again, and I'm doing the same thing. I'm picking Derrick Henry, and the way I look at it is, so I think we talked about this before too. At least Chaz and I did. Derrick Henry caught a lot more passes than he's ever caught before, so adding that to his already insanely high rushing totals, him and Pollard are going to be kind of a wash in the fantasy game, where I think Derrick Henry probably scores more touchdowns if he can stay on the field. And Pollard is probably going to be right around where that Zeke number was, 10 to 12. So you're really looking at kind of just a powerhouse in Derrick Henry getting, 17, 1,800 yards rushing, and maybe you can sprinkle in like 200-300 yards receiving. Whereas Pollard is only looking at the 1,100 to 1,200 yards rushing, but he's going to have 500 to 600 yards receiving. And maybe even that might be a little bit high. So you're really kind of getting the same player there. Obviously, not directly. I'm just comparing numbers here, but we all know Derrick Henry is just an absolute tank.
Well,
but I'm still going.
One thing we didn't do is have Jay read off their depth chart.
Oh, I can do that now, finally?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay.
We always forget on the first one.
Dak Prescott, Tony Pollard, CeeDee Lamb, Brandon Cooks, Michael Gallup, and Jake Ferguson for tight end.
And probably
Who's their backup running back? Who do they have
Malik
listed?
Davis.
Yeah, Malik Davis and
Okay.
Ronald Jones.
Oh,
Yeah.
Rojo.
And
Great.
and Deuce Vaughn, the
the rookie.
4-foot running back. Or
Oh, okay. Cool.
Yeah. So
So there's no competition for Pollard just being every down back.
he's
so.
5'6", 176.
it's so small. It's Darren Sproles. Darren Sproles was something.
Sprolies.
Sproles was something.
So-
in fantasy. So
He was a fantasy pick, all right.
So any of these major players, excluding Dak, I see Dak in these best balls and stuff go like the 9th, 10th, 11th quarterback.
Yeah, he's going super late.
Like if you pick the last quarterback, you're the 12th person. I was in our fantasy football bros league. I was the 12th person to pick a quarterback, and I got fucking Aaron Rodgers doo-doo ass last year. if this year my 12th best quarterback is Dak, I'd be doing backflips.
Yeah, for sure.
So like that's how it is. So obviously all the big players, Derrick Henry, geez, got me on the wrong team. Dak Prescott is good, a good pick, but not an elite one, but a very high end, like probably a high end second tier one. And then Tony Pollard's on the high end second tier running backs. I think CeeDee Lamb is on like the low end of the elite tier. And I'm a big fan of Brandon Cooks as like a top our top wide receiver too. So or 3, but he can even. I think he's going to give you wide receiver 2 numbers. So that's where I am on Dallas, and we've got a lot more teams to talk about. So let's move on to the New York Football Giants, coached by Adam's favorite coach in the NFL, Brian Daboll.
Why is he my favorite?
I don't know.
I do love Daboll though. I mean, obviously we all do. I mean, look what he did with Josh Allen, and then goes to the Giants, gets through the playoffs, beats like.
I've always been a big
fantastic.
supporter. I've always been a big supporter, obviously, of Saquon, but I've always been a big supporter of Daniel Jones. And it was nice to see him, round into form a little bit last year. And I think he's going to make an even bigger leap this year. So, Jay, why don't you read me the New York Football Giants starting
lineup? Daniel Jones, Saquon, Isaiah Hodgins, Darius Slayton, Paris Campbell, Darren Waller.
So obviously Saquon, I think, is the most talented running back in the league. Maybe not anymore due to a certain.
Who might hold out?
Sure. That's something to look up for. I'm a big fan of DJ. We all know that everybody loves Darren Waller's skills. The guy's got to get healthy, but that receiver core, it's actually a lot better this year. It's a lot better this year than it was.
So
it's still not great.
The underrated signing for me was Paris Campbell.
Think so?
I really liked him in Indianapolis when he was there. He's just a big body, can catch the ball, good route runner. But Daniel Jones needs that because he's got Darius Slayton and Sterling Shepard, and I believe Sterling Shepard is my Nabra.
Yes, it was.
I can't stand the guy. That guy has disappointed me time and time again. I think they can be a lot better this year, and I think Paris Campbell can help them do that.
Well, Dave, I was very adamant, if you were listening to the podcast last year, I was very adamant that the Bills chose the wrong Isaiah when we took Isaiah whoever and instead of Isaiah Hodgins.
Yeah.
And I turned out to be 100 million % correct. But do you think that like his coming out party last year, basically, because who's Isaiah Hodgins? He was on our practice squad, right?
Right.
For there, and he had a breakout season. But is that because he's that talented, or because they had absolutely nobody and it was somebody that Brian Daboll could trust?
I think it's a little bit of both, but I do think, and I don't want to talk badly about Paris Campbell. I do think they didn't do anything to rectify that situation, really. So, Hodgins, like Daboll loves him, right? And we saw the breakout party towards the end of the last couple games of the season last year, where he stepped up and looked like a legitimate wide receiver 1 at times. I'm so over Darius Slayton at this point. Like, we have just been waiting for Darius
waiting for
Slayton
him to just be something, and he's not
something. And I'm so over that.
Yep.
And I mean, honestly, I think they don't really have a choice. I love Isaiah Hodgins this year. Especially where you're getting him is like the late end of, you could grab Isaiah Hodgins in like 13th, 14th round, and he's got a shot to be a wide receiver 1. So,
and that's
I
where you
love
can
it.
get Paris Campbell too, though, is late in those drafts. But I'm not saying Paris Campbell is their answer, right? I'm not saying he's this outstanding wide receiver, but from what they had before, it's an upgrade for the Giants.
It's definitely an upgrade. Yeah. I mean, I would say Hodgins and Campbell are going to be 1-2 on the outside. I'm fading so hard on Darius Slayton that like the dude doesn't even exist to me. So like,
you guys are forgetting 3 major players, actually 4 major players. He brought in Jamison Crowder, who I think is a better option than Paris Campbell. But that's just me. I'm big in Jamison Crowder. But
you're a huge Jamison Crowder fan.
You can't forget.
We didn't even see him last year.
Yeah,
he got hurt right away. But you can't forget about their pick last year, who was actually tearing it up before he hurt himself in hell's his name now? I was just drawing a blank on his name. It was like, but Darren Waller, don't forget, that's their number 1. Darren Waller is your number 1.
He's
Sterling Shepard is a cockroach. He's
terrible.
He's not terrible. He just gets hurt. So he'll get in there, he'll be a cockroach, and then he'll get hurt, and then he'll disappear.
I think you're talking about Wan'Dale Robinson.
Thank you. Wan'Dale Robinson last year, towards the end of the year when he became healthy, was on like a few game stretch there of like, at least fantasy point wise, and we are talking about fantasy football. Fantasy wise, because I was starting him, so I know this for a fact. He was on a stretch there of 12 to 18 points for like 3-4 games in a row, and then he got hurt. So like, if you think about all those names we just made, Robinson, Campbell, Shepard, and then don't forget, you still have who I think their number 1 target is gonna be Darren Waller. You do have Slayton there. Oh, and by the way, I mentioned it on the draft show, but they drafted Jalen Hyatt, who I think is going to be their alpha dog number 1 by the end of the season. The dude reminds me of DK Metcalf, and DK Metcalf was the same way. Oh, he's just a big guy. He's got no route running abilities. He's going to go in the 3rd round, and no one's going to love him. And since day 1, DK Metcalf's been a top 12 receiver in the NFL. So
yeah, I like Hyatt. I actually wanted the Bills to draft him.
So I'm all in on Jalen Hyatt. I'm not going to say fantasy wise because it's his first year. He's a rookie.
Rookie year, yeah.
But maybe by next year, their receiver room went from who to like a bunch of mid guys, but one of them's got a break, right?
I mean, there's not a single wide receiver on their roster right now that's over like 800 yards for receiving last year. So yeah, like I'm kind of with Dave on this. Like, yeah, it's an improvement, but it's not great. So
I don't know. I think he's got so many good weapons. I just think like, and don't forget Saquon is a major weapon if he plays. But Waller is your number 1 target. Jalen Hyatt, big guy. Hodgins proved it, and then you got to wait for one of these other guys to break. Adam seems to think it's Campbell. I think it's more going to be.
I don't really think Hodgins had a breakout year last year either, like you do, but
it's got to be on Daniel Jones. I mean, the guy only threw 15 touchdowns last year. That's not a lot of touchdowns.
Yeah, but I gotta give him a break due to what he was throwing to.
Yeah, I mean he threw for 3,000 yards, so
right.
He ran for like what 800.
What?
And he ran for like what 800.
Probably. Let me
Let's see what his rushing stats were.
He probably ran for about 800 yards, I would say. So, that's a lot. So maybe 700, but
708.
Okay, so 700. That's a lot.
It is a lot for a quarterback. Absolutely. I'm not discrediting him that at all. But it's a passing league now. You got to throw the ball. That's how you're going to win games. I mean, like I said, they made the playoffs and they beat the Vikings the first round. So they obviously did something right last year. I hope it is a breakout year for some of these guys, and I hope Daniel Jones can step up his game and ascend to the next level. And I don't think we saw his ceiling yet. So we'll see what happens.
So what we're saying is, of course, you're looking at Daniel Jones as a low-end starter. Your receiver, obviously, I think we can all agree. Just throw a dart and pick your favorite, right? I don't think it's
Yeah.
a clear one.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
And if we're just giving sound fantasy advice, we gave your opinion, but there's no like clear number one there. Darren Waller, I said in my why not. I think if Darren Waller stays healthy, he has the potential to finish behind Travis Kelce as the tight end.
I do agree with that.
I agree too.
Yeah, we're all in agreement that Darren Waller went without saying is that they're number one when he's on the field for sure. And I agree. Just put those guys on a dartboard, throw it, and whatever one you hit, you can't. I mean, you're taking a chance, and that's all it is. And hopefully, you pick the right one. And if you don't, then maybe somebody dropped them and they're on the waiver wire you can pick up.
Pickles was joining us, everybody, that she wants to get some camera time. So, and then lastly, of course, we didn't even mention Quan. Saquon Barkley is a end of the first round, top of the second round pick, but you got to monitor the situation of his contract. If it does not get resolved, and you guys know I'm the biggest Saquon simp in the world, I'm probably going to be out on him because I've gotten burned in the past by Le'Veon Bell. I had him that year, and he sat out the whole year. And
I did too.
And I've been broken about it ever since. Then there was, I can't do it. If his situation isn't rectified by week 1, I don't know if it's going to be this year because these running backs are trying to take a stand, and good for them to try to get their bag, but NFL doesn't give a fuck.
Well, time's running out too because Monday is the deadline to sign the long-term extension on the franchise tag. So by 4:00, we'll know what's going to happen. And whether he signs it or not, we won't know until we obviously will hear about it. But he could sit out the entire season.
Well,
so
Dave,
that's a big risk if you draft him.
Dave, if he plays, if he's good to go, where is he off the top of your head in your running back rankings? It's got to be top 5, right?
I mean, easily top 10. I would put him sitting right around 5, to be honest. Kind of right in that 5 hole.
Yeah, he's probably around 4 or 5 for me off the top of my head. McCaffrey, Robinson, Eckler, Barkley, and I could even be argued to put Barkley ahead, but I'm more of a Barkley guy, so that's the only reason why.
Yeah,
Jonathan Taylor though too. So I mean, he's somewhere in that range for me.
Yeah,
but I've always been high on him. Jay, are you looking at him as a top 5 back if he's playing?
Yeah, he's probably like 5, maybe 6 for me.
5, 6. Adam, you've always seemed to be a little low on him, so.
It's the injuries that make me nervous, but I'm probably right around 5, 6. So.
All right. So it's fair enough. It's actually cool to see to have the Giants have some respect in the fantasy game because it's not been that way for a long time. Christ, for the last 15 years, the only Giant that ever made some noise was like Odell Beckham and maybe Ahmad Bradshaw a little bit.
I know, even when Eli Manning was there, like he didn't wow the stat lines either. So it was you either got 500-yard Eli Manning or 150-yard Eli Manning. So it's definitely frustrating. So
all right,
we'll see what happens this year.
Well, we are going to move on to
Reigning, defending, undisputed
NFC East / NFC champions, and we are going to talk about the Philadelphia Georgia Bulldog Eagles.
Yeah.
All right.
This team was good.
Yeah,
and they just got better.
That's
stupid. All I can.
It's not. It shouldn't even be like legal what they did.
Well, and obviously we're talking about their main signing of quarterback Marcus Mariota. That just put them over the top, right, guys? Is that what?
Of course, yeah.
Yes.
Sure.
And honestly,
we'll go with that.
I was looking at this. I didn't even realize they signed Marcus Mariota, but that's a great signing for them for a backup because they lost.
Sure.
They lost. Who did they have?
Gardner.
They had Gardner, so they lost Gardner.
Gardner Minshew.
Okay, so we're looking at they got a lot of shit going on here. They brought in Rashard Petty. Pickle, stop stepping on my computer, or I'm going to sell you to the Chinese food place. Okay, you understand? Okay, so they brought. Should I cut that out? Nah.
Maybe he might get canceled.
Am I cutting that out? Nah, bro. All right. So they brought in Rashard Penny, who I think is a much better running back than Miles Sanders, but he'll be hurt. I mean, it just happens.
Yep.
Never played a full season. But look out for Rashard Penny because he's going late, as well as this new backfield mate. One of my fantasy crushes last year that failed me because of horrible coaching, and that's DeAndre Swift.
Chaz's running back of the year last year, DeAndre Swift.
Well, now he's on a much better team with a much better offense, with a much better offensive line, with a sane coach that knows how to use their weapons properly. So I am so torn between these two because I have such a bad taste in my mouth of DeAndre Swift. And Rashard Penny, I think, couldn't fit on a team more perfectly than he does with this team. And we can't forget that Rashard Penny, even though he's been hurt, he was a first-round pick in 2018. He's got talent. It's not that he's just some random dude they're plugging in the backfield. The guy's just been hurt forever. And, of course, kind of the same thing with DeAndre Swift, just been hurt and bad coaching. So I'm seeing more and more now in drafts Swift going before Penny, and that's just, I think, because of the excitement about him. I mean, they made a trade for him. They brought him in, but they were one of the first ones to run out and grab Rashard Penny too. So I don't think we should bury the lead on Rashard Penny. So, Jay, they're both on the clock. Which one are you taking?
Probably Swift, even though I'm not confident, but I think I'd probably give the edge to Swift.
Okay, go down the line. Adam, same question.
I agree. I would go Swift only because Penny hasn't played a full season. I know he's a good back, but injuries terrify me, especially for running backs. So I'm going Swift.
And same for you, Dave.
100%. Yeah, that it's no question for me.
Yeah, I mean, he is the Morts, but I mean, he's been injured all the time too, and that's why it's scary. I feel if this is your team, you got to nab both. So you're going to be nabbing what, 5th and 6th round with the same team?
I'm okay with drafting Swift and then getting Penny or vice versa. If you can get both of them, then you're probably fine. The only thing that comes with that is that it's going to be shit. Who do I start every week? It depending on how either one does. But I'd be okay with the handcuff there. If I don't get the handcuff, I'm probably throwing my tablet.
So that's the biggest question, because you got your two receivers, and both of these receivers, AJ Brown and Devontae Smith, who I said at the beginning of last year, before the year even started, that this was the best 1-2 punch in the NFL, and you guys laughed at me a little, and they kind of showed up to be, if not the one of the best duos in the NFL. These guys are both going in the top 2 rounds. You're getting AJ Brown at the end of the first in mock drafts, and you're getting Devontae Smith at the end of the second. And to be honest, I'm not comfortable with that anymore. I loved Devontae Smith last year because I ended up trading for him, but either way, he was like an 8th round pick.
Yeah, who'd you get him from? I can't remember.
I got him from country music superstar Eric Van.
Oh, that's right. I forgot. He tried to save his season. It didn't
for Darrell Henderson Jr. Thanks, Eric. But either way, I'm not comfortable with AJ Brown where he's going, and much as I love him, and I'm not comfortable with Devontae Smith where he's going now. I think there's a major. It was kind of remember how it was really mad on the Bengals last year, right? It's kind of getting like that with the Eagles this year, because AJ Brown was great, but he's going in the first round. I can't do it, and Devontae Smith is great, and I love Devontae Smith. The guy's a Heisman Trophy winning receiver. Again, he's going in the end of the second round. I mean, it's a little more comfortable, but I want him a little later than that. I don't know. I just feel like it's Jamar Chase and T. Higgins again last year. Even worse, though, because last year, Chase was going in the top 5 picks, but Higgins was going a 3rd or 4th round. These guys are going in the top 20 picks.
Well, I think it's I don't really know. I want to say it's because they had a really good offense, but I mean, isn't it this? It's the same situation. Is you got Brown and Devonta Smith, and you got Chase and Higgins. They're virtually. I give the edge to Chase and Higgins, but AJ Brown's not that far behind, and
that's what I'm saying.
Neither is Devonta Smith. So can I justify end of the first for AJ Brown? Yeah. Can I justify end of the second for Devonta Smith? Yeah. Can I justify Jamar Chase? He's probably going number 2 overall, if not 1. You can make a case for. And T. Higgins is a 2nd round pick. At least I've seen 2nd round pick. Is that crazy?
That's a lot just for 2 offense. Right? And that's just the way I look at it. So it's just there's this hype.
Okay, but what if the Bills get Hopkins or Cooper Kupp? You're drafting Kupp in the 1st round and Diggs in the 1st round, probably.
That's already happening right now anyway. So they're
right. That's what I'm saying, though. I'm saying you're saying it's a lot for only two teams. Okay, well, it's a lot for one team to have two guys drafted so early. So I guess it's really no different. I mean, you're getting Devonta Smith is a wide receiver 1 in fantasy.
Yeah, they both are, honestly. They're both gonna put up over 1,000. They're gonna have, 10+ touchdowns.
Like if I wait on wide receiver and I go running back first 2 rounds, or if I happen to get like Travis Kelce or Josh Allen or somebody like that, like I'm very happy with Devonta Smith or T. Higgins as my wide receiver 1.
All right, well, let's stop talking about the Bengals. I was just trying to compare the two from last year, and what I was actually trying to say is like there's more comfort, I guess, to me with say T. Higgins over Devonta Smith because of Joe Burrow is basically immobile.
Right. So you're getting more passing yards out of Burrow. Yeah, I agree.
And more touchdowns. Where Devonta Smith last year was very excellent, 95 receptions, 1,200 yards, 7 touchdowns. And A.J. Brown was a beast too. I'm just and what scares me on the Eagles a little bit, and the reason I loved all the production last year is because there were later picks. What scares me on the Eagles a little bit is if A.J. Brown gets hurt, which he always does, and if A.J. Brown gets hurt, we can't forget about it. He had his one good year. Finally, A.J. Brown, I've been on this guy's side since he was drafted in 2019. And he finally had his breakout season, his good year, and he didn't get hurt. But we can't put out the fact that if he does get hurt, I think Devonta Smith then plummets because then he's the one that's double covered.
Sure, and that would, I mean, yeah, that's with any offense, but it is the Eagles, and I mean, Jalen Hurts is known for running, so I mean, I think he scored 9 rushing touchdowns last year, which really hurt the value of Miles Sanders, who actually had a pretty decent year last year if you look at the numbers. And I have a why not coming out on him. I don't know if you posted it yet or not, Chaz, but it's coming. It's Miles Sanders. And I hate Miles Sanders. I do. He's on my Nabra list as well, but which makes it, that's why I had to do the why not. But yeah, I mean, Jalen Hurts he takes a lot away from guys. Is it great if you have him on your team, fantasy? Absolutely, because the points are still the points, whether you have Hurts, Smith, whatever. But, I mean, losing A.J. Brown is big for any team. So,
Dave, are you comfortable with both these receivers in the top 20 picks?
I mean, as much as good as this team is on paper, for me, this team doesn't have a ton of fantasy value. And I know that sounds crazy, but again, it has to go back to with where these guys are being drafted. And, we talked about DeAndre Swift a little bit, and I like DeAndre Swift as maybe you're rocking DeAndre Swift as your flex, right? So I'm okay with that. But I'm faded on A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. I think this is another situation where guys are just like really hammering down on this kind of new school wide receiver, elite, overvalued. Like, I just think they're overvalued for where they're going. And again, they're not going to be on any of my teams.
You worded that better than I did. That's what I was trying to say is that there's too much value put into these guys for the sim. And that's what I was saying, say for T. Higgins last year, and he was going a round or two later than Smith. Now Smith is creeping up into the middle of the second round. That's where I got Travis Kelce last year. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just this weird, like, all of a sudden, like, fucking everybody wants to suck the teat of every wide receiver possible.
I just think people. I think people are getting scared that everything's a passing league now, so they're just like, oh, we need good wide receivers. So it's this giant wide receiver run, and you're literally left with nothing in rounds 3, 4, and 5.
So you're taking Devonta Smith over. What if Jonathan Taylor's sitting there in the middle of the second?
Not me. No, I'm not saying me. I'm taking running backs all day.
And like people are taking, say, Jay, who do you like better, Devonta Smith or say Devonta Smith or Deebo Samuel?
Probably Deebo.
Well, that's not how the consensus is. Am I right, Dave? I mean, Devontae's going.
No.
Am I making this up, Dave?
No, you're not. He's going
No, nobody's disagreeing with you. I don't think.
He's going so early. I've never seen him make it past the end of the second round.
And that's what it's just confusing to me. And I love the guy. I traded for him last year. Like, you would think that I would become a simp for him, and I would be happy with Devontae Smith in the middle of the third round, in the late of the third round. But like, and maybe it's just like Adam was saying, or no, Dave was saying, or both of you were saying about the overcorrection of the wide receiver market now, and that's great. And you just got to decide which route I guess you want to take. I mean, we didn't even mention Jalen Hurts because, I mean, he's a top 3 or 4 quarterback in everybody's rankings, I'm sure, right?
He's literally the third quarterback going. It's Mahomes, Allen, Hurts, top 3, any order. I don't care. I've seen it all the way.
Yeah.
I'll probably have him 3, maybe 4, but I probably got him 3. So we didn't do our rankings. Jay, I assume you're there too?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I didn't call him out to have the year he had last year, but I definitely called him out to have a better year. So last year, so I've been on him forever. Probably not going to end up with him though, because so like when I do my rankings too, there's tiers, and I just feel like tier 1 is Allen and Mahomes, and then tier 2 you get Hurts, Jackson, Burrow, and stuff like that. And I don't put, so just because Josh Allen went in the top 12, the top 15 picks doesn't mean I'm taking Hurts in the 17th pick. And
no, I'm the same way, and somebody is going to for sure. And the mocks that I've done, I've done I think 3 or 4 of them, and every single time it was Mahomes, Allen, Hurts in that order. And I don't know if it was just because the people drafting, they wanted their guy or whatever, but I mean, that's just that's just so early to take a quarterback for me, especially when we just talked about Dak Prescott is a very good quarterback who can score you points. Is he going to get you 400 points? No, but is he going to get you 320, 330? Probably.
Yeah, and I know Dave already said basically, he's not buying in any of the Eagles because they're going too high, and Hurts might be there too for me, honestly. Just might be too high. And the same thing with their tight end, Dallas Goedert. Like, okay, I mean, tight ends are just meh anyway. So I don't know.
After Kelsey, Andrews, and maybe Hawkinson, Goddard's not up there.
What you got, Dave?
I actually do. You guys know I love me some Dallas Goedert. I actually do think he's the value play this year because I think he's a very consistent tight end. He's an obvious target. And he got hurt last year, so his stats are deflated from last year. So he's being drafted later than he should be. And I think if you're somebody who's kind of waiting on tight end, you're just kind of like throwing a dart out there and grabbing your tight end in the 9th round. Like, you could do a lot worse than Dallas Goedert.
I agree.
Yeah, I mean, he's a top 7, whatever, 8, something like that. I don't know. And of course, their defense, yes, top 1 fantasy defense, top 2.
Close. Yeah,
close,
I think they were pretty close. I mean, their defense just got better. They drafted the entire Georgia Bulldogs defense. So
yeah. So those are people to put in your lineup. So we're gonna move on though to the Washington Redskins. Oh, sorry about that. The Washington Commanders.
Oops.
Did I just get canceled?
Yeah,
probably.
Oh man,
that's okay. The Commanders will be reaching out to you to edit that out of the video.
Somebody I saw on Twitter has the Twitter name Washington Redskins.
Washington Redskins, yeah, and they're
verified.
He posted that. You see that? Yeah.
Yeah. And the Commanders keep contacting them like, bro. So
I did see that.
Okay, so the Commanders, they have some key additions of. Okay, they brought in Jacoby Brissett. That's about it. And then they drafted all defense. Great. They lost to Tyler Heineke. So you lose Tyler Heineke, you bring in Jacoby Brissett. Those are 2 of the best backups in the league, right?
Sure.
Nope.
Whatever. I think the best backup in the league is Gardner Minshew. Just saying. I just want to start that. Anyway, so I just don't think this team did anything. Jay, what is their starting lineup?
Sam Howell. Ryan, I just got shot in the ass. Robinson Jr., Terry McLaurin, Dotson, Curtis Samuel, and Logan Thomas.
Okay, great not great, but pretty good receiving options. They have a lot to prove still. Howell is named the starter, Adam.
Yeah, I know he is. I don't know
what the kid does. I mean,
yeah, I guess.
You know,
I would go Brissett in my opinion.
why? So you're gonna go a guy that you know is mid is gonna win you 50% of your games, or a guy that could be good or could be bad. What do they got to lose right now?
Yeah.
You're right. They don't have anything to lose. So
Yeah.
I don't disagree, but who
So
knows?
the running backs
I hate the Commanders.
is a mess. The running back room is a mess, and I'm gonna give Ron Rivera some advice.
Your opinion really doesn't matter.
Okay, because
Your opinion.
that's what he's gonna say, because he's got a much more talented back in Antonio Gibson. But
Yep.
you want to put in Bumbles, Brian? I just got shot in the ass, Robinson. Can that still be his name though?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't like the running backs at all. I'm actually happy that Brian Robinson's going earlier, because I think Antonio Gibson is going to end up being the better person. So I was listening to the NFL radio, and the coach there, Ron Rivera, was doing an interview, and there he was talking about, he's like, and people are underestimating our running back core. We got some really good talent. We're really impressed with how Antonio Gibson is catching the ball. Oh, I'm sorry there, sir. You mean Antonio Gibson, the former college wide receiver? You're impressed with how he's catching the ball because you wouldn't throw it to him the last 3 years, Ron Rivera? Like, this guy needs to go. This guy is like the end of an era of these fucking defensive minded tough guy coaches. Like, this is not it anymore. This is not it. And this is why, like, your team is a complete disaster and a joke. And the only reason that this guy still has a job is because he got sick and had cancer, and everybody rallied around him, and you couldn't make that move then. And you guys know that's true.
Yeah, I mean, he should have been fired a long time ago, if we're gonna be honest.
Yeah, I can get behind that.
Bad decision after bad decision after bad decision, and this team needs a complete overhaul. This team needs to tank. This team needs to start. Maybe, go on.
He hasn't had a season over 500 since 2017, and he still has a job.
Yeah, this team's got nothing to offer. I think Terry McLaurin's great and talented. I think Jahan Dotson's great and talented. I think
someone should trade for them.
I think Brian Robinson's okay. I think Antonio Gibson's actually a really talented running back, and Jay has a man crush on the tight end there. And so the tight end last year, Logan Thomas, Dave, at our draft, we were together recording the podcast. That when Adam drafted Logan Thomas, those two almost got in a fist fight.
Jay wanted my throat.
Like,
it was like super late. I can't remember what round. We have to look back, but as soon as I drafted him, Jay was like, "Fuck you."
I never thought,
looked me dead in the face.
I never thought I would see blood be spilled over Logan Thomas.
Wow.
A former Buffalo Bill. So I totally took the reins on that. Adam, Adam, are you targeting anyone, or are you just out on all these guys?
I'm out on the Commanders, man. The only way that you can see me getting a Commander is if somehow Gibson falls late, like really late, like 12, 13, 14.
Not that late.
No, you're right. He won't be that late. But I'm saying if he falls that late, that's the only scenario that I see myself taking. But I'm just out on the Commanders, man. I'm always out on the Commanders. That's why I traded Gibson to Jay last year.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
No problem, dude.
Dave, do you think any of these guys have potential that I'm not seeing?
I think everybody's kind of on board here. The Commanders is a wash. The only thing that I'm kind of looking at maybe is Curtis Samuel in a best ball scenario, because he's a sneaky guy that's he'll have 2 or 3 games where he gets 4 touchdowns for some reason, but other than that, like, this is a total fade for me.
I totally agree with Chaz too. Just McLaurin and Dotson, they have talent, but it's just nobody's throwing them the ball.
And I know Jay is there with me, right?
About what, Gibson?
It's about the whole team.
Just the entire team.
Yeah, I'm out. Yeah, except for like Gibson late.
Me and Jay have always had a little thing for Gibson. I talked him into Gibson, and he's he's such a good, talented guy. I don't understand this fucking team. So all I want to say is this.
Yeah, last year he had or not last year, the year before he had 1,000 yards rushing.
Yeah,
and then
They start a guy that's coming off of getting shot in the ass.
Yeah.
But it's another story. Oh, guy was injured for half the season. Oh, great, he recovered from getting shot in the ass. Well, his car was getting robbed and blah blah blah. And great, throw him in there.
That's old Buffalo Bills garbage. That is like, oh my God, Fred Jackson, 7th round pick, Stevie Johnson, 7th round pick, Ryan Fitzpatrick, 7th round pick. We love these guys. This team is great. That team was garbage, people. Look at a good team now. Like
it's something for them to talk about when they don't really have a team to talk about is what it is.
To be fair, he did get shot in the ass, but he had 800 yards rushing in 12 games. And I guess
he doesn't. It's not like this kid's talentless, and I don't mean that.
Yeah,
no, he's not. He's got talent, sure. It's just
like comparing Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift last year, right?
Yeah,
It was like the same thing, except not as high profile. Is all.
Yeah. I mean, this is the saddest thing about the Commanders. It's like obviously, like Scary Terry is talented. Like Dotson's talented. Samuelson, like Curtis Samuel is talented. Everybody on like Robinson. And Tony, like everybody on this team is talented. They just can't find a way to like put it together into anything meaningful.
As long as you're not talking about Allen Robinson, right? I just want to.
Oh God,
let's not talk. He is the one that we don't speak of anymore.
But that comes down to coaching. Like Jess said, Ron Rivera needs to get out of there. He's done, or he should be done.
They also need a real quarterback. So.
Well, that was going to be my last question before we move on to the AFC. And I mean this. Sam Howell, you don't know. So we'll just say Jacoby Brissett. Is Jacoby Brissett better than Carson Wentz? I don't even think so.
Probably not.
Right?
No.
So what are they doing? Like, why not just
Carson Wentz? Don't forget, Carson Wentz, before he got hurt, the Eagles went to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, and Carson Wentz last year actually started off real hot, too.
And got hurt again.
And then he got hurt again. So,
and that's why Heineke went in there, and he won a game or two, and everybody was like, "Whoa, this guy can win."
I do like Heineke. I think Heineke's great. By the way,
I think Heineke's awesome. I mean, I'm not saying he's top tier, but he's definitely. They probably should have kept him over bringing in Brissett.
I think Heineke reminds me, not talent wise, he reminds me of Brett Favre. He's a fucking gunslinger, dude. Like he's just out there and he's trying. So before we move on into the AFC East, and just so you guys can get set up, we're going to start with the Miami Dolphins. But before we move on into the AFC East, I'm going to start with Adam, because these two other guys have a hard time keeping up with changing teams. So Adam, rank it.
This is a tough one because it could be any Eagles, Giants, Cowboys in 1, 2, 3. I'm gonna go Eagles, Cowboys, Giants, Commanders, and I think all three of the first the Eagles, Giants, Cowboys all make playoffs.
Again, okay, all right. I'm gonna go with close to you, but a little different. Eagles, Giants, Cowboys, and Reds. Commanders.
Honestly, that was my first thought, and I changed it because I like the Cowboys more.
But I'm with you. I think they might all make it too. Dave, what about you?
Pains me to say this, but I'm taking Dallas top. Then we're going Philly, New York Giants, and the Washington Commanders.
Do the three make it?
I would love for the Giants to make the playoffs.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the only one that I would be little iffy on, is the Giants might not make it, but I could see them all making
it last year. I mean, I don't think there's only going to be one team from the South that makes it. There's going to be only one team from the North that makes it. So that leaves still 2 wild card spots for 2 divisions. And how much better is anybody in the NFC West than the Giants? Okay, you can argue Seattle. I mean, obviously the Niners.
I think Seattle. Oh man, Seattle could win that division though, but I think it's
over the Niners.
Okay, I said they could.
Okay, so if we're already given the first wild card, is there 3 wild cards this year?
There is 3. Yes,
they're in.
There was always there. So last year had 3 as well.
So you're telling me, we'll just say the Eagles win the division, the Giants get the first wild card. You're telling me that there's 2 other teams that are going to take those wild cards from the Giants? Seattle, maybe. Who's going to be the other one? Don't give me Detroit. Don't even think about it. It's going to be nobody from the South.
No. No, the South is won by the Saints.
It's interesting to see, but we that's not our official picks yet.
The
Jay,
NFC's a mess.
Jay, right.
Oh, finally. Oh, to be fair, also,
oh my God,
I'm not gonna take the slander that it takes me a while to find the teams. I also have to do the depth charts. Okay,
Very true.
so I'm doing 2 jobs.
Very
but
true.
I'm going Eagles, Giants, Dallas, and I don't care about the Commanders. So
yeah,
so Jay's with me. So you two are the same, and me and Jay are the same. Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right, so let's move on since this is taking forever. Because
no, Dave said Dallas first, so
yeah, I said me. Yeah, you guys both said. Oh no, that's right.
no, I said Eagles.
I got you. Okay, so me and Jay are on the same page there. So,
yeah.
So we are going to move on now to the AFC East, and we're going to skip. We're going in alphabetical order. We're going to skip the Bills just because I know we're going to fucking go on hard with them. So let's talk about
as usual,
especially Adam.
Yeah.
Oh, stop it.
Let's talk about the Miami Dolphins. Key additions: Jalen Ramsey, Chosen Anderson, who, if you guys didn't know, is Robbie Anderson. And then they re-signed Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson, and they brought in another running back of Devon Achane. It's really all to say. They're pretty much bringing back the same squad, which is pretty good, Jay. And what is that squad?
Tua, Mostert, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Waddle, Cedric Wilson Jr., and Smythe for tight end.
Oh, that's right. They don't have Gesicki anymore, but I don't think it matters because they don't use their tight end in the passing sense.
No, they don't use him at all.
Anyway,
And
literally at all. I don't think Gesicki had more than 50 catches.
They also got former Buffalo Bill Tyler Croft. Didn't he play for the Bills?
Yeah, he did.
He did.
Yep.
All right. Okay.
I think he played a game and he was injured the rest.
Yeah.
So first question, Dave. No, that was Tyler Eifert, I think.
Oh yeah. We had him too?
Didn't we? I don't know.
No, I don't think we did.
No, those two were both on the Bengals together. I was confused.
Yes.
Dave, let's start with you. First question: is Tua Tagovailoa? Is Tua a? First of all, say his name. Say his name.
Tagovailoa.
Tua Vailoa.
Okay, close enough.
Nice.
Is he a top 10 fantasy football quarterback right now?
I think he is right now. Yeah. And I think it has a lot to do with the weapons around him and the situation that he's in. Obviously, that backfield is a disaster, so they're going to be throwing a lot.
Disaster or productive?
A productive disaster,
You're true.
maybe,
That's
but
for a hangover.
Either way, I do think he's a top 10 quarterback. I think the obvious concern is health. So, I mean, he's one pancake away from,
literally dying.
Literally, he's
for sure.
Yeah, he's
and
literally...
the Dolphins are one bad call from playing him and mistake away from probably not existing in the NFL anymore.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
I have a drop for that, Dave, and it goes,
"Oh my God, they've killed
Tua." and then he's guys, training staff, coaches. How's Tua looking out there? Does he have a concussion? Okay, all right, guys. Thank you.
Well, he said he had back spasms. That's why he fell over.
Yeah.
Okay, buddy.
Okay, so Jay, same question. Top 10, Tua top 10.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, and Adam?
I'm probably putting him outside my top 10.
Okay, all right. I think he's a top 10, draft wise at least. And I do want to do combat Dave a little bit because Dave said mainly because of his weapons, but it's not like this is like Brock Purdy, who's a 7th round pick and thrown into an offense with all these great weapons and looks good. I mean, this guy was drafted 4th overall?
Yeah.
Just in front of Justin Herbert. This guy is an acclaimed athlete, championship pedigree, coming from Alabama. Before the season started and Burrow blew up, everyone was claiming to tank for Tua, that year coming out. So the guy is talented, and they built, he doesn't have a rocket arm, but what do you do when you don't have a rocket arm? You put really fast, twitchy guys on the receivers, and boy, do they have it. They have the fastest receiver the fastest player in the NFL, and probably the third fastest player in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like they built this team up well around Tua, and the guy has the talent. I mean, look how good the team looked when Teddy Bridgewater came in. Not as good, right? And Teddy Bridgewater is not a big darn quarterback either. So Tua is good, but we all have the same scare. And it's not just about fantasy. It's not just about football. I don't want to see this dude die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
as much as a Bills fan, as much as we hate the Dolphins, we also don't like to see people get hurt.
And we sat through a near death experience this year.
Yeah, literally. And not to mention, we all sat through the whole Tua saga. It happened early in the season. He got concussed. They let him play. He got concussed again. He's out for 4 or 5 weeks. Comes back, gets hurt again later on in the season. It's like, I want to see good football, but I don't want to see guys get hurt like that.
Yeah. So, okay. So comparative to what we were just talking about, the Eagles. This is another team that has two wide receivers going in the first 24 picks, but I'm okay with taking these guys. I think these guys turn back the value even more. I think even though we all expected Tyreek Hill to fail, we were all wrong about that. And I think Jalen Waddle is actually a more talented receiver than Tyreek Hill. So he's not as fast, but I think he's a more talented receiver.
I was asked yesterday if Tyreek Hill is a viable first overall pick. What are you guys' thoughts on that?
No. Not even a
No.
second.
I couldn't agree more.
Not even a second.
I about spit my drink out when they asked that. I'm like, you're not serious, right? Yeah. I mean, he's good. He's so fast and this and that. I'm like, yeah, I understand that, but first overall, you're out of your mind.
Does this person watch football?
They claim to.
No. But
after that question, I'm not sure.
I'll tell you, I'm comfortable taking both of these guys in the top 24. So, sure. I mean, if you just think about like what Jalen Waddle did last year, right? We all know what Tyreek Hill did, but I think Jalen Waddle is slept on. Jalen Waddle, Jalen Waddle's first year, he had 100 receptions and 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns. Jalen Waddle, the second year with Tyreek Hill, had 30 less passes. He had 75 receptions. He had over 300 more yards and 2 touchdowns. His average went and doubled. In his second year, Jalen Waddle had 75 receptions for 1,350 yards and 8 touchdowns on 18 yards per catch. Why are people sleeping on this guy?
Because they have Tyreek Hill and he's going first.
Yeah.
That's literally the answer. I mean, there's no other answer than that.
Also, I don't know if you...
I mean, go ahead, Jay. Sorry.
I don't know if you guys know this, but about Tyreek Hill, but I'm looking at his stats, and I'm pretty shocked. He had more receptions with Miami than he ever had with KC. More targets than any year with KC. The most receiving yards as well. The only thing that was down was touchdowns.
That's because they had Travis Kelce. And he got majority of the targets.
Okay, but think about it like this, and this is what I want to compare. Tyreek Hill had 1,700 receiving yards. Great, fantastic. But he also did it on 119, almost 120 receptions. His receiving average was 14.4, while Jalen Waddle's is 18. So you would think Tyreek Hill has the better average because he's faster, right? Wrong. Completely wrong. Second question. I know Jay's got it pulled up here. Who do you think had the longest reception on the team last year?
Waddle.
Jalen Waddle, 84-yard touchdown pass.
I mean, that was a given. You kind of gave us the answer.
Sure. But I just don't think people.
No, I mean, I knew that. I know what I'm talking about.
I just think that people don't realize how friggin' good Jalen Waddle is. That's what I
think people realize it even when he was the only guy there.
Right. Yeah, the guy's rookie season, he had 104 catches and 1,000 yards. Right. Like this is
pretty good to me.
So I know, and I get it. Hill, and I'm not advocating to take Waddle over Hill, but I think taking Dave, who would you take first, Devontae Smith or Jalen Waddle?
Jalen Waddle.
Why is Devontae Smith going first?
I think it's just because of how excited people are about the Eagles as a whole. Like, we said it as soon as we pulled it up, like this team was great and they just got even better. It's like, yeah, they got better, but did they get better for fantasy value? You know what I mean? Like,
No, they got better as a team in general.
they got better as a team in general, right? So I mean, I think
fantasy, they're probably going to be right around the same as last year.
Right. And that's why, I hate going back to it and saying like I'm faded on the Eagles, because this hype is like they're probably going to be exactly what they were last year. And now the hype has gotten so that they're so overvalued that I can't see myself taking them. Like the Dolphins wide receiver core is actually, I think they are going to be what they were last year, and they're valued right around where they should be.
Right. And like, just to get on, I'm pretty sure Jalen Waddle missed a couple of games. That's why he only had 75 receptions. So I don't know. They're both, I'm happy with either of them in the top 2 rounds. I'm happy with Tua in the top 10. I don't really care about their running backs, and you're not getting them. I mean, does anybody care? Are we really in on the rookie? Jay, are you in on the rookie at least, Devin Achane?
No.
Sure, like 13th round, right? Like
their running backs. I had Mostert on my team last year.
Nah,
and it was
it's a crapshoot.
Yeah, are they going to use him this week? Or are they just going to keep throwing? It was then he would have a good game, and had like 105 yards rushing and a touchdown, and I'm like, holy shit, is this guy actually like onto something? And then of course I'm like, no, I cannot start him. The only time I started him was when I had a bye week, and
and that's how
it was mid. I mean,
it's a headache. That's what that is.
It's a headache. Such a headache.
And so Jay, since you're this guy's simp, if they do sign Dalvin Cook, how do you feel about Dalvin Cook and the Miami Dolphins if that happens?
I don't know, because their running backs are just, I don't know.
I mean, does he turn into a top?
It's still gonna be a disaster.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. Maybe, probably, but it depends on who are they actually gonna use him more than these other 4 guys.
Does anyone have strong feelings about him going there in anything?
If he goes to Miami, doesn't move the needle on him at all. Is he a top 10?
No.
It's Dalvin Cook. Maybe you can get to 10, but top 15 I think is more realistic. It's just a team that doesn't use their running backs. They're like the Bills. They don't use their running backs. And having Dalvin Cook, yes, he's great, but that just wastes the talent that you have in Hill and Waddle and Tua. I can't get there.
All right,
I can't get there.
Dave, anything for you on the Cook thing if he goes there?
I mean, honestly, Dalvin Cook's name is just going to overvalue him for me. He's going to go as probably like 12, 13, probably around 12, 13, 14 area is where I would put him. And I don't think he's going to give you that type of return. The best hope for Cook is draft early, grab Cook now, and hopefully he gets signed with, like, even if he does get signed with the Dolphins, I mean, you grabbed him for probably nothing because he was not signed when you guys drafted. So
I was just going to say, hope that he's not signed when you draft so you can get him very late, and hope that he drafts or gets picked up by a team that needs a running back who runs the ball all the time.
Yeah, that's the value on Cook there. Draft him late rounds, hope he gets signed.
Couldn't agree more.
If he goes to Miami, I'm faded because his name's going to put his ADP way higher than I think he should go.
All right. So we're going to move on to the team that we should be able to blow through really quick. We're going to move on to the New England Patriots, all right? And all I got to say about that is, all right, let's move on. No, we do have to talk about okay, in one word, is Mac Jones a top 24 quarterback? No. Okay, so not even a low end backup. Okay, fair. Is there any other receiver appeal on this team except Juju Smith-Schuster?
No.
I don't even have Juju.
I don't have Juju anywhere near any of my list.
Okay, I'm cool with Juju at some point, because someone's got to catch the passes. It's not like, the team sucks, but it's not like nobody's going to catch the passes. So I'm in a Juju.
Well, it's going to be tight end Mike Gesicki.
Okay, and we all thought it was going to be tight end Hunter Henry too.
Well, it's going to be both now.
Okay, great. So
No, it's not. That was clearly sarcasm.
We're always in a New England's defense. They'll figure it out. They'll be good.
Sure.
for fantasy. And
Yeah.
obviously the only like golden person on this whole team is probably late second round, early third round. Rashad, what is it? Ramondre. I do this all the time.
Ramondre Stevenson.
Ramondre Stevenson. I always do that because there was a Rashard Stevenson basketball player. Okay, Ramondre Stevenson, right? Easily top 15 running back.
Yeah, I can see that.
Right? Top 12? Is he top 12?
No, top 15 is fine.
Dave, is he top 12?
I'm sorry, I was drinking delicious Gatorade. You guys might hate on me for this, but Ramondre is in my top 10.
I mean, that's not absurd.
He's
Well, we'd like to thank Dave for showing up on the show today.
He's 10, but I mean he's inside the top 10. I mean, he's an absolute beast, man. I don't know. I love his running style. I love his running style for that offense because obviously Mac Jones could not hit the broadside of a barn. They're going to lean on him heavy. Damian Harris gone. I mean, there's no competition for him. Belichick loves the guy. There's no wide receivers on the outside. I would not be surprised if like the New England Patriots come out and just play like hard-nosed defense and we're going to hand Ramondre the ball 25 times a game and hope to win the game, 13-10. I would not be surprised if we see that.
And then Bill Belichick will be sitting there and he'll be like, I'm back. That's I haven't dropped that one in a while.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that's a good one. I like that drop.
Okay, where do you think he is at all? Like
we got to use that
10,
more.
Top 12?
I don't know. Maybe, top 12. Maybe.
It's hard for Jay to like a Patriot.
Yep.
It's hard for any of us to like Patriot. We're talking fantasy here, though. And I don't disagree with you at all, Dave. The Patriots their offense is bad.
Yeah,
it's just bad. But I say it all the time though. Bad teams are fantasy gold.
Yeah.
No. Tell me what's
in this case,
gold.
I don't think so.
And then, yeah, exactly. Because even if, your counter argument is bad teams are fantasy gold. I mean, if New England's always losing, Ramondre's not going to keep running the ball, right?
Right. No, exactly. And they have to rely on Mac Jones. That's exactly why I said in this case it's not going to happen because if they are always down, you have to rely on Noodle or Mac Jones, or macaroni and cheese arm, whatever we call him.
Macaroni and cheese arm.
It's not going to go well. Yes, somebody has to catch the ball, but they're not it.
I bet you by the trade deadline, once Alvin Kamara is back, Bill Belichick trades for Jamal Williams and goes
Bumbles bounce.
No, they got James Robinson. They don't need.
No, they cut him already.
They cut him.
Did they?
They cut him already. Remember, I gave James Robinson a big.
Oh yeah, I do remember now.
Yeah,
they gave James. Okay, so that's it. Fuck this team.
Yeah, I mean, fuck the next team too. But
yeah, exactly.
You have to worry about the next team because they punched us in the face last year, and then they did bring in an upgraded quarterback, and he's actually calling in right now. So hi, Aaron, how's it going? No, you didn't even.
Yeah.
Aaron.
No, I know. Yes, you're going to be on Hard Knocks. Who cares?
Of course, that's crybaby Aaron Rodgers coming to the capital of the world, and I am so excited to watch this dumpster fire crash and burn. Like, I am so excited. You're talking about one of the most recluse quarterbacks in the league. He's been up in fucking Wisconsin living in the mountains like a fucking Yeti for the last almost 20 years, right? And now he's going to the fucking biggest market, New York Jets, the New York media. This guy was gone in a darkness retreat, climbing in a fucking rhinoceros's asshole to get away from
doing psychedelic drugs.
Doing psychedelic drugs, and now he's in New York City. This guy, this now, and they're on Hard Knocks. Oh my God. I cannot wait to see this fucking dumpster fire. That's going to be Aaron Rodgers and the New York Jets. Not saying like he's going to be there. I'm not saying they're going to win 3 games or anything like that, but like it is going to be a shit show. I can't fucking wait.
It's not, they're not even the New York Jets anymore. They're the New York Packers.
the New York Packers. Just wait.
That's fair.
Wait until we stomp them week 1, and then week 2 they might win. I don't know their schedule. Then they lose week 3, and then they lose week 4 is close, and then you're gonna get Aaron Rodgers going, well, we were so distracted by Hard Knocks coming in here, and we just want this guy is already making excuses. He's already setting up the Hard Knocks excuse. He literally is already setting this up. This guy,
yeah, that's why I said that. Did you see that article?
yeah, he's got no
Yeah.
accountability for him. He's never
Yeah.
had. He's walked around like a prima donna his whole career. The guy's got one of the greatest arms in the NFL history. He's also 40 years old. Well, Chance, Tom Brady did it at 40 years old. Tom Brady eats nothing but avocados and plants. Aaron Rodgers is taking fucking mushrooms right out of the fucking shit and hanging out in the woods. Like, these two aren't the same. I'm sorry. Sorry, Jay. What is their fucking? What is their starting?
Oh my god! I think we're done. I think we're done here.
Yeah.
The only thing that would have made that better is if you were like, he thinks he's that guy, but he ain't that guy.
I can't. Jay, starting lineup.
Rodgers, Brees Hall, Garrett Wilson, Allen Lazard, Nicole Hardman, and Tyler Conklin.
Okay, so that doesn't scare me. I'm sorry.
Doesn't.
It doesn't scare me. Like, Aaron Rodgers, is he an upgrade over Zach Wilson? Yes, he's an upgrade
Yeah.
over Zach Wilson. Of course.
They also got 87-year-old Randall Cobb.
And he had 87-year-old Randall Cobb last year. And he had 87-year-old, or he had not very good Allen Lazard last year. And he brought both these guys over. Is McCole Hardman going to make a difference?
And they got Corey Davis.
I forgot about Corey. He's probably going to get cut.
Everybody forgot about Corey Davis.
But does McCole Hardman make it a better quarterback? Cole Hardman couldn't even do shit with the best quarterback in the league. Okay, so here's the big one. Well, they have the rookie of the year, Garrett Wilson. Okay, and Dave. So Garrett Wilson is good. How much lower in the season and in talent wise last year would Christian Watson would have been, Dave? Probably what, third in rankings for rookie of the year?
Right.
So
Yeah.
right, so like a little downgrade there. And I'm still not into Garrett Wilson. There's a difference between Garrett Wilson being awesome and Garrett Wilson being like the only capable person and the small, fast guy that Zach Wilson can throw to.
Yeah.
Like, there's a difference there. I mean, I don't want to like alarm you guys, but I just got to like pull it up here because Garrett Wilson is not a man. He is okay.
Okay.
I'm over exaggerating.
Go on.
I'm over exaggerating his height and his weight, but he's a small dude. He's 6 foot under 100 on 190 pounds. That is not a big dude.
Yeah.
Whatsoever. So he was having his way. The only person with Aaron Rodgers that was doing any noise last year was Christian Watson, right? And Christian Watson is a big boy, if I remember correctly. Christian Watson is 6'4", 207 pounds. So these two receivers aren't the same. So he's not going to do the things with Garrett Wilson that he was doing with Christian Watson. If you look at some of the greatest receivers in Aaron Rodgers' career, you got to go, what? His two best ever were Devontae Adams and Jordy Nelson, right?
Right.
Right?
Yep.
Big boys, 6'4", doing what they got to do down the field. And yes, he's had some success with Randall Cobb. Randall Cobb had like what, one good year ever?
Yeah, maybe. I don't know.
Fantasy year, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. So like, this team ain't it. I'm not like,
Yeah.
I just
He's literally had one good year, and it was 2014.
yeah. So yeah, I can't with
Almost 10 years ago, it was his only good year.
yeah, I just can't do it with this team. And it's just, I'm totally out on this team. I don't give a shit about anybody. And honestly, I don't really give a shit about Brees Hall unless I'm getting him in the third or fourth because he's coming off an ACL tear. That takes time to come back from.
Yep. Yeah.
Deuce McAllister, Adrian Peterson.
Yeah. Well, Adrian Peterson did it. Yeah. Adrian fucking Peterson.
Not only like the physical aspect of it, but the mental aspect of it, because even when they're fully healed, all these guys are like, I'm still afraid to like cut on that knee because I'm afraid they're gonna blow it again. So
I mean, look at the Bills with Trey White. He never came back right last year. Hopefully he's back this year. And I'm afraid for Von Miller, except Von Miller went through it before. So maybe that's actually better. Even just look at somebody.
Not to mention, Von Miller's just an absolute freak.
But even look at somebody in the NBA like Jamal Murray. Jamal Murray tore his ACL in the playoffs 2 years ago, missed all of the next year. And then he came back the next year and was meh until the playoffs this year. Then he was finally unlocked about 2.5 years from his injury.
yeah, it takes a while.
And it's just like, so Breece Hall, I'm not in on. I'm not in on Garrett Wilson. And the only reason I'm not in Garrett Wilson, because people are taking Garrett Wilson ahead of people like CeeDee Lamb. Are you nuts, people? Are you out of your fucking mind? They're taking Garrett Wilson ahead of CeeDee Lamb, Nick Chubb, Derrick Henry. Like, God, I'm
please take him. So
I'm
I don't have to
right now. I can't even. Like, literally, the only person I want on my team from the New York Jets is maybe Aaron Rodgers as a late quarterback backup, because there is some upside, and maybe give me my anaconda, because somebody's gonna have to start, because Breece Hall is not going to be raring to go. So I dominate that. Adam, go. What's your take on these whole fucking Jets?
I mean, I did not see them. Yeah, I agree that it's an upgrade at quarterback. But Aaron Rodgers didn't have a very good year last year. Complain about the thumb injury, whatever. Complain about, having rookie receivers, whatever. The guy's just a walking excuse. Never takes responsibility on his own, and it's just going to be the same thing in New York, dude. It's no different. He's got this great talent, and I don't even think he's great talent. He's just talent in Garrett Wilson, and Allen Lazard is just dog water. I can't stand Allen Lazard. And Randall Cobb is probably going to play 4 games. So what was the point of bringing these guys over? And I'm pretty sure they brought over an offensive lineman from Green Bay as well, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong on that, but either way, I'm out on the Jets. I completely agree with you on that. I do not want anybody on my team from New York. I don't care if Breece Hall is sitting there in the 10th round.
That's silly.
Obviously he will not be. I'm not saying he's going to be there and take it. He's getting drafted early, and I'm out on the Jets. Fuck the Jets.
All right. Anybody? Am I over exaggerating, Dave, on anything, or is talk some sense into me on somebody?
No. I think we're all kind of spot on here. And I actually don't hate Aaron Rodgers. His carefree whatever. I'm gonna hippy dippy it up and eat mushrooms in the dark, like whatever. I don't even care. But I don't know. People are drafting Garrett Wilson like he's some
so early
2019 Devontae Adams just because Aaron Rodgers got there. Like that shit ain't flying for me. I got no part of this team. I want no part of Breece Hall. Yeah.
Dave, I don't know if you didn't get the memo, but this podcast is anti Aaron Rodgers only.
Listen, I agree, Dave. I totally agree with you. His persona, whatever, do what you want to do, man. I don't care.
Exactly.
Go in the dark, do what you want to do. The thing that bothers me the most is that he'll throw a ball and it's 4 feet into the dirt, and it's like, well, the guy didn't run the right route. I can't throw the ball to the guy who didn't run the right route. It's like, dude, are you fucking kidding me?
That's the Phillip Rivers,
Give me
dude.
A break, dude.
That's Phillip Rivers to the max. That's the dude that I hated the most. It's like Phillip Rivers would throw a garbage pass and then be like,
what are you doing? Yeah, why'd you do that? There was one pass I remember specifically that Aaron Rodgers threw, and it was to Christian Watson, and he didn't turn right away, and it was a touchdown, easy touchdown. It was a miscommunication between the two. Didn't throw to him the rest of the game.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing, man? He's still a rookie. Like, give me a break. Oh, and then makes a comment about it when he was interviewed about it later. It's like, come on, man, be a leader. Don't throw your guys under the bus. Like,
yeah, exactly. He's not a leader.
It drives me nuts about the guy. But listen, you want to go into the darkness and eat mushrooms? Go ahead, do your thing. You want to be, be a leader on the football field, man. Like, people look up to you, and this is like a. Nobody wants that fucking dog shit attitude that you have.
And so this guy's coming off his worst year in like 3 or 4 years, and one of his worst years of all time. He had the most interceptions of his career other than his first year starting.
Well, blame that on the thumb injury.
Okay, sure. And he
has his receivers.
And it's the first time in almost 8 years that he didn't go over 4,000 yards passing, and he had only had 26 touchdowns.
Blame it on the ankle injury.
He only had 26 touchdowns, but like, are we like giving
that was a shoulder thing?
Aaron Rodgers, guys. I'm looking at these stats, and I'm kind of interested, right? So Aaron Rodgers was the best quarterback in the league in starting about 2011, right?
Sure.
2011, 4,600 yards, 45 touchdowns. 12, 42,000 yards, 39 touchdowns. 14, 43,000 yards, 38 touchdowns. 16, 44,000 yards, 40 touchdowns. He had an injury in 2017. So, but listen to this, and we might be over exaggerating Aaron Rodgers' like effectiveness lately because of his 2 MVP seasons. 2018, 44,000 yards, 25 touchdowns. 2019, 4,000 yards, 26 touchdowns. Then he had his big 4,300 yard, 48 touchdown season. Then he had 4,100 yards and 37 touchdowns when he won his MVP, and that should have been Tom Brady. And then right back down to 36,000 yards and 26 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. He was on a downslope, got fired up for a couple years, and then was back down. He's old. He's 40 years old. No offense to me and Dave, but like he's old. He's an old man now, and he's turning 40 this year. And when I was making that joke earlier about Tom Brady, but I mean it. Tom Brady played till he was nearly 45 because the dude is a cyborg. He takes care of himself and his body and his mind and everything. Most quarterbacks fall off the face of the earth way before 40 years old, and it's amazing that Aaron Rodgers made it this far. But there's a very good chance that the dude is diminished now. There's very good chance of it. And just because he's going playing with fucking 6-foot Garrett Wilson on a run-first team doesn't mean that he's going to be MVP caliber again. The guy could be done. He was awful last year. Awful. And if somebody wants to come to me and say that, well, he was just playing awful to get off the Packers, well, then fuck him then. And he's a piece of shit. Simple as that. And shame on the Packers.
Yeah, I agree. It's just a guy that, oh my God, this team, they don't get me any help. I can't do it on my own, and this and that, and blah blah blah. And then they go, well, we're not going to sign Devontae. We're just going to give you all the money. And he's like, great, I love that idea. That's awesome. I love more money. And then it's like, well, what are you guys going to do to help me out? Well, they draft 2 wide receivers, and Christian Watson was really good. And Romeo Doubs, we don't know. He was injured a little bit and had some flashes. Could be good. Who knows? And was like, well, I think I'm just going to go to New York. Okay, buddy. Do your thing.
Ridiculous. And the media is going to hold him to the fire, and he is going to break, and we are going to get sound bites like this for the whole fucking year. And I can't wait. Jay, you have anything else to say about this team? Is there anybody I'm over us or underestimating here?
No, fuck this team. We spent too much time talking about this shitty team.
All right, guys. Then for the second time today, and the last team,
Bills, baby.
Oh, I love Jay's. Just get to the point.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about the Jets way too long. They're the Jets.
Maybe. True.
All right. I know we think the Bills are going to be long, but we talk about the Bills all the time, so it might not take as long. So the Buffalo Bills, okay, they brought in some offensive help, right? Okay, they brought in Damian Harris. Damian Harris. I don't know. It could be something. And then Dalton Kincaid coming from offense here.
Don't forget Latavius Murray.
Deontay Hardy.
Deontay Hardy. Yep, I forgot about Deontay Hardy. And then Dalton Kincaid, and our biggest offseason signing was the loss of Isaiah McKenzie. So that helps us out tremendously because he's dog shit.
Yep. See you later.
And honestly, Damian Harris is at least equal, if not better, than Devin Singletary. Jay, relax, Jay. I didn't mean it. But
Devin Singletary.
I don't think that really matters either way. Jay, what is the Buffalo Bills starting team?
Josh Allen, James Cook, Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis until he's replaced by Shorter, Shakir, and Dawson Knox.
Okay, and Dalton Kincaid is in there too. So
yep.
Okay, so let's start off with, obviously, fantasy football wise and real football wise, Josh Allen is number 2, if not 1B, to Patrick Mahomes. We can all agree. Right?
Agreed.
Yeah, agreed.
Okay. Jay, you didn't say anything.
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. Just making sure.
We need your answer. Damn
it. I was waiting for Jay to go like, well, he's after Justin Herbert, but
no.
I
think Jay knows that he's not after Justin Herbert.
Is there any argument to say that? Can anyone argue me that Damian Harris will be worse than Devin Singletary?
I don't argue that.
Are you
I
saying?
think he. Oh man, I don't know. Now I'm questioning it. Go ahead, Dave. I have to
I mean,
think.
are you thinking that Damian Harris is going to be the RB1?
Maybe. I mean, just because of the way this kind of conservative offense likes to run.
And they didn't use Cook at all last year, so
Right.
I mean,
They kept using Singletary and they started using Cook more. I said it on the show a couple weeks ago. I would not be surprised if the first snap at running back this year is Latavius Murray. I would not be surprised whatsoever. And I just don't think, and if he does get cut, then fine, it would be probably Damian Harris, because I just don't think they want Cook to be an every down back, which is okay. We hate it for fantasy purposes, but if it's good for real world football, then so be it, right?
Right.
But
Yeah.
like, I think Harris is an upgrade over Singletary, and I think everybody's kind of overlooking this guy.
I think it's probably at least a lateral move. I think they're both probably similar on like yards per carry average. So I don't know.
I mean, we all want it to be James Cook, but they just don't seem, at least last year, to want to give him the full role. And if they wanted to give him the full role, Dave, I ask you this question. If they wanted to give James Cook the full everything, the full role, why did they go out and sign Damian Harris, trade for Naheem Hines in the middle of the season, and bring in Latavius Murray? Why would they do all that if they love and ready to roll with James Cook?
I think you have to take a lot of what happened last year with a grain of salt, because we were prepping for a possible Super Bowl win. So I think a lot of signings was to get depth and stuff like that. I do think they're going to give James Cook the role this year. I think this is his year to kind of take it to that next level. I think Damian Harris, I think he fell off a little bit on last year in New England. So we got him at kind of like a discounted rate. And you know how Bean is, he's going to, if he sees a guy that's got some talent and he can get the deal done for cheap, he's going to do it. And I think that's exactly what he did. I think Harris is just going to ride pine and Cook is going to be an every down back? No, I don't. But I do think we're looking at more of like a 70-30 split. Harris is
split, man.
I honestly believe in it though. And you know, the thing about Harris is he's a touchdown vulture. So I mean, yeah, he's gonna steal some touchdowns. But I think people are kind of sleeping on James Cook, and it's because we've never seen him get the role. And you know, we obviously brought in Damian Harris, but I think this is the year that you can get James Cook on the cheap, and it's going to really pay off for you. And I think next year we're not going to be able to do that.
I just want to give shout out to the man, the myth, the legend, Jay Coleman. He said, and I quote, "Well, I wouldn't be surprised if Damian Harris and Devin Singletary had the same yards per carry. Those motherfuckers both average 4.7 yards a carry." So everybody give it up for the man.
Jay, are you from?
I told
are you
you.
from the South now?
Yeah,
My
apparently.
God.
That was Jay's quote. So,
Wow. Okay. All right.
I think one of these running backs is going to be cut by the start of the regular season.
I agree with that.
You talk about Latavius.
It's going to be Latavius Murray or Damian Harris. Yeah.
Why not?
I think that's what he means.
I think it's going to be Hines or Murray.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't think Hines is going anywhere, man.
I don't think they care about Hines whatsoever.
They
did when
we don't need him.
Did when they traded for him.
They never.
Well, I mean, we got him for kick returns, and we don't
Guys,
really.
who's going to return kicks now?
No one.
Who's gonna return their first kickoff against the Patriots again?
Well, we'll have to see where that all lakes out. So let's talk about the receivers, though. I'm actually in more this year on Gabe Davis because he is a much better value. Because of we respected so much more out of him last year, and now he's getting drafted. God, 7th, 8th round. Where last year I took him like in the 4th.
Yeah, I called you out on that.
Yeah, I know. Yes, you
did. we had to edit the video for that one.
Adam lost his mind a little bit on that one.
So I was high on him.
I'm high. I mean, everyone's high on Diggs, and Diggs right where he's going. End of round 1, early round 2. Diggs, your number 4 receiver? Great. 5 receiver? Great. I mean, I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable taking Josh Allen in the 2nd round. I really am. Him and Pat are the only ones I'd consider it. And Knox, and it's interesting to see what happens with Knox and Kincaid. I mean, Kincaid is getting drafted ahead of Knox right now. We would love to see it, but the Bills are so goddamn conservative with their rookies.
They are. They really are.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's the only thing that's what concerns me a lot about Kincaid.
We've never really used our tight ends either, so
And that's true too. Yeah, and we don't really have a game plan for tight ends. I'm hoping that changes because we do like to run a lot of spread offense. We do 4 and 5 wide receivers a lot, and that allows Kincaid to be on the field as he should be. It just Josh Allen is special, man. He really is, and if Kincaid can really play the way that people are expecting him to play out of the slot, and we talked about it earlier already with the Cooper Kupp thing, Josh Allen loves the slot. So that being said, he loves the slot position, and if Kincaid can be there, I'm okay with that for sure.
It's a mess. I'm probably going to stay away from both of them because, especially in Buffalo, I mean, Kincaid's going to get overdrafted. Kincaid's probably
Kincaid is, and I mean,
does anybody have anything to say? Dave? What about you? You tend to go a little deep. Do you have anything to say about Khalil Shakir?
I honestly don't. As much as I want to love Shakir, I just never seen it translate. To anything of value. I mean, he's got flashes in the pan for real life football where he's made some big catches, but fantasy wise, I've never seen anything that would give me any interest in him.
Agreed.
And like you guys said, because we're in Buffalo, Dalton Kincaid is going to go a lot higher. But I do think that in a lot of leagues, you're getting Dalton Kincaid right around the 12th, 13th tight end taken off the board. So in a 10-man league, he's might not even be getting drafted.
Not here. There's no way here.
There's no way in Buffalo, but I'm just saying, like, around, for listeners, in other places, your Dalton Kincaid is coming off the board like 12, 13. So in a 10-man league, he might not even be getting drafted. And I do think like there's a reason why we drafted this kid. We've had problems with the slot receiver for so long. Josh Allen loves the slot. Like this, he could be, it could be a situation where Knox is on the field as the tight end and we're running out Kincaid as our wide receiver 3. You know what I mean? Like it could be
something, could be nothing.
Dalton Kincaid could be what Dalton Kincaid could be the Kyle Pitts that we've been waiting for. And you're basically getting him for free. So I would say if you're outside of the Buffalo area and you're looking for like a Hail Mary at the end of the draft, like grab Dalton Kincaid. You're probably going to get him for free. And there's definitely upside there.
How would you feel, guys, we'll start with Jay can answer this question, but Jay, how would you feel if Dalton Kincaid's numbers this year were 82 receptions, 900 yards, and 5 touchdowns?
I'd feel great.
Adam.
Those are some really good numbers for a tight end.
Dave.
I mean, I would feel great about that.
That was Cole Beasley's 2020 season with the Bills, with Josh Allen's first kind of breakout season.
Yeah.
So why can't that? And that was in 15 games. So why can't that be? I know that's a lot to ask for, but those numbers right there from Dalton Kincaid would make him a top 2 tight end probably.
Yeah.
Right?
Why not Dalton Kincaid?
Why not? Exactly.
Yeah.
As a top 2 tight end in the league, if he can put up those kind of numbers.
Right?
Yeah. And I think we have to go into this thinking that like we obviously have plans for this kid outside of just being a tight end because we paid Knox. We paid Dawson Knox. He got paid.
Yeah, he got his bag.
We went into the draft knowing that we paid Knox and we still took this dude. So like I just feel like there's got to be something there. And I know the Bills are super conservative with their rookies, but we have been searching for that wide receiver 3 like
for a very long time.
For so long.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't be surprised if this kid plays more of the Kyle Pitts role.
Yeah. Dawson Knox did not have that bad of a season last year.
Oh, and I love Knox. That's not a knock on Knox at all. I wouldn't be surprised if they're both on the field at the same time.
Yeah,
I agree.
Exactly.
But Knox had like 9 touchdowns last year.
6.
6. Year before he had 9.
Oh, okay. Then I'm wrong then. Never mind.
But still, I mean,
talk about last year, 2 years ago.
We overrate Dawson Knox a little bit.
Sure, as Bills fans.
And what I mean by that is, Adam, how many 50 catch seasons has Dawson Knox had?
1.
0. How many?
I knew that was the answer. I just
how
had to
many-
guess 1 anyway.
How many 600-yard seasons has Dawson Knox had?
This one has to be 0.
0.
Okay.
So this guy has never had 50 catches, never had 500 yards.
To be fair, he was only 1 and 2 receptions short of 50. So
Sure,
I
but
mean,
I'm just
close.
but still, in general though. So like this guy, we love him because over the last few years he's had 15 touchdowns in the last 2 years. Great, and that's awesome, and we love it for that. But as a pure talent in the league, he's not burning it up like we think he is, and just for reference, and I want to Google this to kind of put this in perspective for all of us. Everybody dogs on Kyle Pitts, right? But Kyle Pitts, his first year, had nearly 70 receptions and over 1,000 yards. So, like, as much as we dog on Kyle Pitts and praise Dawson Knox, Kyle Pitts is his first year, because his second year was injured, had more productive than Dawson Knox's whole career.
So what was that year that Pitts was drafted? That was his rookie year? 2020, you said?
21.
21. Okay. And what were Josh Allen's stats in 21, and what were the receivers? Like, Atlanta didn't have anything.
Right, and so Atlanta in 21 had what? Broken ass Matt Ryan throwing in the ball still, probably.
Yeah.
So, right, but that's all I'm saying. So it's like the way that we look at Knox as a athlete, we love him here. The guy's averaging, 12 yards a catch. Great, that's cool. Kyle Pitts is averaging 14 yards a catch. So they're got similar there, sure.
Knox is the second best receiver on our team though over the last how many?
That's what I'm saying. So like, that's what I'm saying. So like, we might be underestimating Dalton Kincaid. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, maybe it's we underestimated because we know that the Bills don't use tight ends a lot.
Yeah.
So the hope is that we don't actually use him in the tight end position and more in the slot. So you compared it to Cole Beasley's, 2020 season or whatever that was. Yeah, of course we'd be happy with that, right? But that came from the slot. So, everybody is saying that, oh, Dalton Kincaid, yeah, he can really play the slot. Okay, let's see it. You got a quarterback who loves the slot as well, and let's see it.
It just
also being the second best receiver on a team that doesn't even really use tight ends, that says something. So I mean,
well, he's definitely a great, reliable red zone threat.
Sure.
Yeah.
And that's the way I look at him. So, am I missing anybody on this team? And of course, their defense is a top 3 defense in fantasy football. And Tyler Bass could easily be the number 1 kicker.
He could be. Yeah, I mean, yeah, he's clutch. He makes a lot of kicks. But I mean, if you're looking fantasy wise, I agree with the value there. I mean, Diggs end of the first, Josh beginning of the second, mid-second, somewhere in that area. I'm okay with that. Other than that,
give me the Diggs and Josh Allen stack right off the rip. Give it to me.
I'll take it 100% of the time. Other than that, though, I mean, are we really going anywhere other than that? I mean, maybe James Cook, yeah, okay, probably mid-rounds, right?
Gotta go Cook
mid-rounds. Do you take a chance on Harris? I guess we wait and see if he gets cut. Latavius Murray, wait and see if he gets cut. Probably not taking Murray, even if he doesn't get cut and Harris does.
I agree.
Shakir, not even touching.
You got Davis and you got
Davis. Davis is another mid-round guy.
I'm not taking
look at, but
I wouldn't look at him. But
not Davis. You wouldn't look at Davis.
No,
we're going to be the top 3 offense in the NFL. You're not going to take their wide receiver 2. That's crazy.
He's not a wide receiver 2, so no. A wide receiver 2 that hasn't had more than 48 receptions in a season.
Yeah, very true. I'm not arguing. I'm just saying he's going to be drafted.
So,
yeah, he'll definitely be drafted, and so will James Cook. And like I said, I'm okay with mid rounds for those guys. If I really need I don't know if I even go as far as saying James Cook is a running back 2, but I wouldn't hate throwing him in a flex. Maybe.
All right. So let's reel it in here, and we'll start with Adam here. How does this division rank out?
Bills, Dolphins, Jets, Patriots.
All right, Jay
Easy.
Bills, Dolphins, Jets, Patriots.
and Dave.
Bills, Dolphins, Pats, Jets.
Wow.
Wow.
Doing it. I'm
And
doing it.
I'm gonna be the shit stirrer right now. I mean, I still have time to change my mind before my official
Miami,
Dolphins.
Buffalo, New York,
Dolphins,
New
Buffalo,
England.
Jets, and New England. And here's
Saw
why.
that one
The
coming.
Dolphins and the Jets actually did stuff to their offense to try to make it better. And the Bills did and drafted a tight end. So like that guy could be good. And there's still time to be had. There's still time to be had for the Bills to trade for Cooper Kupp or whatever. But like the Bills did nothing to better their offense. Nothing other than Dalton Kincaid, because we always said that Damian Harris is just a lateral move, so it didn't better the offense. And
what did Miami do to better their offense? They had the same offense as last year,
which was killer, and to be fair. And
right,
but the Bills didn't do anything in defense either. They lost players.
Yeah,
we brought in Leonard Floyd.
Okay, and that's a downgrade from over Tremaine Edmonds. And the Dolphins brought in Jalen Ramsey. I know we hate him, but he's a top 5 cornerback in this league.
And Josh Allen has beaten him every time he plays.
Sure, but that's not going to mean that he's not good for other teams.
I'm not saying he's not good.
They also have a legit 1-2 wide receiver combo, so
right, they had that last year.
Yeah, and they were fantastic and made the playoffs last year and almost beat us with Skylar Thompson. So for us to underestimate, they beat us and then almost beat us with Skylar.
But that's why I put them 2 in the division where they were last year.
I'm gonna give him I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt for now. We still got time. That's not the official picks. The official picks come in on the
Chaz just loves being the heel.
No,
yeah, he likes being the bad guy.
Tell me I'm wrong, Dave. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me it's not possible.
You know, I don't think it's.
Don't feed into him, Dave. Don't feed into him.
I hate to say it, dude, and I hate to say it. And I'm looking at this for like not
Chaz is brainwashing you at this point.
Not as a Bills fan. I'm looking at it as just like a fantasy player, like as a a guy that just likes football. I don't see it being a situation where it couldn't happen.
I think it's possible.
I have to give Chaz shit because he can. And we don't do any research, so.
And I'm just salty that they did stuff and we haven't done nothing. And great, but that's the thing. Like, oh, we were number 1, 2 offensive, so we're just gonna sit in our tower and not do anything. Like, I mean, that gets old quick, right? And that's
it does. It is frustrating, and I agree that when you see teams around you go, oh wow, let's sign this guy, let's sign this guy, let's sign this guy. Okay, we just got better, and then you're just like, well, what did we do? Oh, nothing. We're the same team, and oh, great, we signed Deontay Hardy and whatever Sherfield from Miami. Great, drafted a tight end. Great.
Yeah, look at all these teams that have like good 1-2 combos: Philly, Miami.
And don't forget, like if you're going to talk about just in our division 1-2 combos, yeah, you got Waddle and Hill, top 2 combo in the league. They brought in Robbie Anderson. Robbie Anderson would be our receiver.
Chosen Anderson.
Sorry, Chosen Anderson would be our receiver 2 over Gabe Davis.
Yeah.
So
most likely.
I mean, that's where it is. And like, the Jets with Garrett Wilson. Okay, but Lazard would be our number 2.
Yeah.
So, and if you're going to hate on the Patriots, Juju Smith-Schuster would be our number 2.
Oh, for sure.
So,
I mean, Gabe Davis would be like a third on most teams.
I agree
for receiving.
We've all been saying that for since he got here.
So what that boils down to is, I'm sorry, rookie Dalton Kincaid, it all falls on your shoulders, bro. You better come out here.
It really does.
You better come out here.
Better be a baller.
You better be Gronk, kid.
Dalton Kincaid, if you are listening, I gave you high praise, bro. Don't make me look stupid.
You better be Gronking it, kid. All right, for this fucking long.
Dave hates to look stupid.
That's going to be it for this long-ass epic episode. So next week, we're coming back. If Dave wants to join us, we should be back on our normal schedule. Sorry for being late, y'all. It's Adam's fault. No, it's my fault. But I'll explain why in a minute. So next week is going to be our tight end ranking show. We're just going to do 15, all right? 15 tight ends. Top 15 tight ends for next week. We're going to try to do our regular recording night. And Dave's welcome to join us, as always. And
I will be there.
Awesome. All right. And all right. So that's it because it's been a long ass episode. So Jay Coleman, nice new setup. You're still looking like a streamer over there. You better not been. Were you playing games while we were podcasting?
No, but that's a good idea.
Yeah, were you playing some Minecraft over there?
Jay just likes to
No.
listen anyway.
We can't get Jay on Fortnite with. Oh, Adam, Dave said he might join us on Fortnite one night for some no builds.
Y'all
get it, man.
y'all are gonna have to carry me, but I'm down as
Let's
long as we're
get
not,
it.
as long
That's
as we're
okay. I
not
carry
building
Jazz
shit.
anyway.
I got an idea. Our next podcast, not the rankings episode, but we're gonna podcast the four of us while playing Squatted Up on Fortnite.
Let's go.
And
That doesn't work for me because I use my headset to be on the Zoom call here. So,
but that's all right. We'll be on the Zoom call. We'll all talk to each other, but we'll play Fortnite. It will work.
Be on the lookout for the Fantasy Football Bros YouTube live. We can get one of those rocking.
And then Jay, you're gonna play Fortnite with us?
Nah, bro.
All right, thanks.
Nah.
Jay's off that week.
He's too busy playing Farming Simulator.
I wish.
Didn't you play that?
No,
that
that's
was
it's Zach.
All right, Jay. Thank you for joining us with your nice new setup.
Yep.
Adam, thank you for wearing your golf shirt, even though you golfed like 10 hours ago.
It was like 5 hours ago.
It was like 5. I do like that hat. I've mentioned that before.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
It is a dope hat.
Little hoo-ha's.
Dave,
Who has more fun than us, right?
Thank you for joining us as always. Let's
Thank
talk
you for having me,
nerdy
bro.
sometimes again. If you want to invite me back on the show, I'm in. If we had any problems with Adam, we can leave him off next time. It's fine.
You guys are always welcome, bro. You guys are
unbelievable, Chad.
always welcome.
You're unbelievable. Yeah, I love you guys. You guys know it. I love you all. So the song of the week this week, I went to a concert. That's why this is coming out late. It was a great show. I went to see Yellow Card play the 20th anniversary of Ocean Avenue. So in honor of that, we're gonna play a song off of Ocean Avenue called "Only One." So the song of the week is Yellow Card, "Only One." Thank you guys for joining us. And until then,
sounds good, man.
next time.
Cool.
Peace.
Later, guys.
There.
Hey.
You are now listening to the Fantasy Football Bros Podcast.